Buongiorno a tutti, sì, seguirò in inglese come mi è stato richiesto anche per accogliere meglio gli amici del Mediterraneo e gli amici tedeschi che sono con noi oggi. Good morning everybody and many thanks to the organizers for inviting me here. I'm very honored and pleased to be here. I have to say that there's no better place to discuss today about bioeconomy in this beautiful cave, by the way, with the Brussels weather, so we can start talking about integration and bringing together this pot with the cold weather today. I was asked to discuss about synergies between European funds. You know that we are starting a new programming period in Brussels that will last until 2020. So today we'll try to bring together the opportunities for bioeconomy in a synergic approach. So the idea today is to give you a context about bioeconomy as it is perceived in Brussels, to discuss together what is the concept of bioeconomy, because I have to say that there is quite an eclectic, there are eclectic interpretation about bioeconomy across the globe. So maybe today we should come across a unique interpretation, and then we will approach synergies, particularly synergies between European funds and Horizon 2020. And for those that are not familiar with European funds, we have two major philosophies at the European level to work on infrastructure, on research, and to contribute to cohesion in Europe. And on the other side, we have a big program on excellency, on research and innovation that we will discuss later on, also with the contribution of Professor Favo and Alessandra through the networks. And then I'd like to share with you some ideas about how these synergies can be achieved in the context of bioeconomy, and then the role of regions and networks. So the idea is to discuss with me this first question. First of all, why do we need synergies? What are they? And the answer, what I will argue, is that the role of regions is indeed pivotal to achieve these synergies across Europe and also between Europe and other member states. Let's start with the context that Antonio has already mentioned a few minutes ago. The context in Europe is evolving very rapidly, and this year has been a significant year in terms of institutional changes. I was mentioning the start of the programming period. We have a new budget that will last from this year to 2020. Then we had a few months ago the renewal of the European institutions, new Parliament, new European Commissions, everything new, everything with a new push for bioeconomy. The European Union has already launched a significant narrative on bioeconomy, but now we have to see how the European Commissions and the other institutions will move forward. And the first step has been already done with the announcement of the Juncker plan a few days ago at the European Parliament. It is still announced, but still isn't important. Not many new resources, but leverage effects are now requested to attract more investment in Europe. But I'd say that this is a good starting point to also promote new investments and innovation, also risky projects in the field of bioeconomy. And then this year has also been the year of our Italian presidency of the EU. We're here today, but in Turin a few weeks ago there was another very significant conference on bioeconomy promoted by the Italian presidency, where Italian presidency, which program has been also focused on not just on research and innovation, but on a number of actions in the field of bioeconomy. The Italian presidency will be followed by Latvian presidency and the Luxembourg presidency, which means that there is already room for all of us, for different stakeholders, to make a contribution in the next few presidency that will follow the Italian one. Next year, we know that for us Italians is a brilliant and very important year because we have Expo. And Expo in Milan 2015 will definitely cover a number of issues related to bioeconomy, related to issues of nurturing the planet, and all this is also linked with what will happen at European level in 2015 regarding the year for development. And as we know, bioeconomy is not just a European issue, it's indeed a global issue across our planet. So next year, the European Union will promote this development year, and there is room also there to make contribution. Finally, Paris. Paris will host the United Nations conference, the next conference on climate change, another big pot where to discuss bioeconomy strategies. And then for the France of the European Commission, 2016 is the year where we will have some results of ESPRI that, as you know, was launched in Trieste, if I'm not wrong, a couple of years ago, and there we will see what are the opportunities in the field of research infrastructures that, once again, can be related to bioeconomy. Finally, 2017, a big year from a political point of view. We will have presidential elections in France, federal election in Germany, and maybe a possible referendum in the UK. This is not really directly, as we were discussing yesterday, relating to bioeconomy, but these appointments, these political appointments, might indeed change the political agenda for Europe. So we have time to think about where to go and how to address bioeconomy issues. We are getting to the end of Europe 2020, because of course in a couple of years, in 5 years, this strategy will end, and the big question there is, will the targets will have been achieved by 2020? Also those targets related to innovation and competitiveness, therefore bioeconomy. And we have from now to 2030 time and room to think about how to develop the bioeconomy, let's say, roadmap from OECD. Before moving forward, let me just tell you that according to OECD, bioeconomy and biotechnology, and today the two things go together, can contribute up to almost 3%, 2.7% of GDP by 2030. I think this is the data that we should consider in the next few hours, today and tomorrow. So let's move to the presentation that I was asked to give. Synergies between programs. But before doing this, I think we should all agree about a common, a shared interpretation of bioeconomy. I was reading newspapers. I've been here from Brussels since Friday, and I've been reading just Italian papers from Friday. Every single day, Corriere della Sera and Repubblica, just for our friends coming from the Mediterranean, Germany, our major papers in Italy. Every single day from Friday, they were hosting articles on bioeconomy, renewables, well, of course, the crisis of oil across the globe. So one first thought is that bioeconomy is already there. The point is that there isn't a single interpretation. So sometimes citizens just confuse it. Circular economy, green economy, blue economy, renewables. There isn't really a single interpretation. I think, and this is a question for our speakers that will follow me, I think that if we ask a European citizen what is the economy, we should provide an easy answer. What is it? So maybe the easier thing that I collected from European institutions and from the number of European regions we have been working on this field for the last few years is that bioeconomy is first of all a paradigm shift. the change towards a new economy based on renewable natural resources, so very limited use of fossil resources that will prevent biodiversity loss, create economic growth, and new jobs in line of the principle of sustainable development. Having said that, if we all agree, do we agree with this? If we all agree, then the major thing is to bring all these components together and to get to a coordinated interpretation of bioeconomy. So let's start now with synergies. Why do we have synergies? What for? And what will we argue? With you, I will argue, but of course you can dismantle the thesis today and tomorrow, that regions can indeed make a contribution in the development of bioeconomy in Europe and outside Europe, because we have here friends from Turkey and from other member states where also the local, if not the regional approach, are quite significant. Synergies. Synergies have been created by the European Union basically to give a bigger impact at single market level, in the internal market, to make sure that we attract more investment and to make sure the funds are not doubled, or we have no substitutions of national or regional funds. But for those funds that are not European, let's keep in mind that we have a big budget that now will run from this year, 2014, to 2020. I'm sorry, it's not very visible, but I'll make a long story short. This is the European budget. It's called in technical jargon multi-annual program. And when you see these colors, if you see the green and the blue colors, those are the major basically funds that go to cohesion, that go to rural development and agriculture, and go to competitiveness, research and innovation. And this is why we need synergies, to make sure that all these funds that are not scattered and are that make a potential, and I was saying that make an impact as a European level. And this is why we have this idea of synergies. To make a long story short, synergies are not really a very sexy topic. But synergies have been published by the European Commission. I wanted to show you this sexy publication from the European Union. This is just to make things simple. These are around 100 pages just about how to create synergies among funds. We can create synergies among different funds. We could say environment, research, innovation, competitiveness, industry. But indeed the European Commission wants synergy, particularly in these blue and green areas, where the major concentration of funds go. What is the challenge there? Is that the European Union is basically asking to put forward a new approach and to put forward two very different philosophy, because structural funds, and you from Basilicata know it very well, they are based on they are a place-based approach. They are based on a shared management. European Commission, member states, regions. They imply now that a smart specialization should be presented by each region for a priority setting. They have a 7-year programming period. It's not just that you present a project and next year it's implemented. And they imply a huge amount of money in the European budget. Keep in mind that the European budget is no more than 1%, it's less than 1% of European GDP. And look at here, we have over 350 billion just for cohesion and the other structural funds. And this is one philosophy. The other philosophy is research and innovation. what experts like Professor Fava and Antonio Di Giulio in the last few years have been working on, the so-called research framework programs, now is called Horizon 2020. Nice name, because you can think of a new horizon. But Horizon, that also has in proportion a good budget, look at their around 80 billion, has a different philosophy. First of all, it's non-territorial. We need international cooperation. It's a program that is based on not just on research and innovation, but on excellences. It's a program which is managed basically at central level by the European Commission, and it is a program which is based on a 3 years, let's say, calls, tenders, if you want to use a jargon, and finally is based on competitiveness of proposals. It's not that you go to go to Potenza and ask for a project to be realized in Basilicata. You need to apply to an international, to a call, and you need to apply through international partnerships, and it's based on excellences. So the first big challenge of these synergies that are requested by the European Commission is that they ask really synergies, and they ask to bring together two very different philosophical approach. Second challenge. Look at this map. The European Commission and also national authorities are asking us, the citizens, to be more, to achieve more simplification, better regulation, less complex mechanisms. But look at here. This is a slide, by the way, that I've just stolen by the European Commission, as you can see at the bottom. But this is just a part of the complexity. On your left side, you have the upstream, the structural funds approach. Look at there. You have projects that will be co-funding to support infrastructures of research. They're working on ESFRI. They're working on skills. They're working on a number of challenges at regional level, and then on the other side you have all the different tools, complex tools provided by Horizon 2020, including PP, public and private partnerships, the key enabling technologies, public procurement, pilot lines, etc. So another complexity, and this is for you, European Commission, is it won't be easy, and also for us, public authorities that come, it will not be easy. And I guess that also for international partnership, for the friends from Turkey or Egypt, let's keep in mind that there is a complexity there that should be faced on. So some comments about this guide. This guide was published pretty late, just a couple of months ago. It is still perceived as a goal and not a mean, and this is what regions are criticizing. Yes, something that we should probably offer to the European Commissions are tailored solutions. We cannot just provide synergies that are fit for all kind of projects. So in jargon, it cannot be a one-size-fit for all approaches. In the bioeconomy context, and so we can move to the regions. In the bioeconomy context, synergies can also be achieved because bioeconomy is one of the priority of Europe 2020, and in the bioeconomy sector, you have a plethora of actors that are involved, from regions to universities to research centers. So one challenge is not just bringing together sectors, not just an integration of sectors, those that were advocated earlier on, but also an integration of stakeholders. Once again, in the bioeconomy sectors, we have to bring together different philosophy. On one side, for instance, structural funds through smart specializations, and on the other side, we can refer to the bioeconomy in Horizon 2020, in the societal challenges, in the part related to industrial leaderships, and in the area of joint technology initiatives. So there is room, there is space for synergies in the bioeconomy field. Regions can be pivotal. Why? Because they manage structural funds, and because all competitive regions across Europe participate in research programs. So this is the thesis. And a big opportunity with this programming period has been offered to regions through the smart specialization, which is a process of basically priority setting in a regional and national innovation strategies. I'll just give you an example. This is the smart specialization strategies of my region, Emilia Romagna. So we don't have there an explicit, as you can teach me, example, an explicit reference to biotechnology, because you see we refer here to the three traditional sectors of my region, the agri-food, the constructions, and the mechatronics, and then we refer to the other two sectors that have high innovation potentials. But bioeconomy in Emilia-Romagna will be a cross-cutting sector, if you want a mainstream regenerative sector. And in Emilia-Romagna we will experience integration of these two components, structural funds and horizons. I had a look before coming here at a number of smart specializations across Europe, and Professor Fava will probably discuss this further on, because I guess I have just a few minutes I need to conclude. But anyways, in quite a number of, in very many smart specialization strategies of European regions, bioeconomy or green economy is a significant component. Also in many regions, blue economy, which is probably not a priority, unfortunately, in Italian regions. So bioeconomy is there. We just have to bring the different components together. So to conclude, regions are indeed pivotal, because they can be the first actors to be able to bring together different sectors and different stakeholders, and in this way they can enhance investment, they can increase the resilience by economy, and we can, of course, at regional level easily produce or educate and produce new competencies and therefore new skills. And now to conclude, networks. I know Alessandra will discuss one of them area in the next few minutes. I'd just like to testimony how networks in Brussels are important. I'm based in Brussels, and Brussels is this map. Brussels is basically, together with Washington DC, the biggest area for networking, for lobbying. And among the different actors, you also have not just regions, not just NGOs, not just business, you also have networks of regions, of research centers. And why are they important? Because networks can do all that you can see here. They can influence policies, they can help participating in European projects, they can provide an exchange of information, create partnerships. Basically they can do whatever is needed to participate in the European agenda. These that you can see here are those networks at a European level that also work on biotechnology. ERRIN, a jury that also involved other actors, not just regions. IGRO, that brings research centers, and yeah. I'm sorry, I need some water. I conclude. I think I have 2 minutes. ERRIN, and extending. So, to make a long story short, ERRIN is the most significant European network of regions, and it is a European network working on research and innovation that functions as a catalyst and brings together different actors to influence policy in different fields related to industry, to research and innovation. In the bioeconomy, we do have a specific working group. We did organize last week a significant brokerage event, also on bioeconomy, and the ambition here is to create opportunity for mutual interest for regions. Area, Alessandro will discuss it. It is a network in the field of agriculture, food and forestry. Jury, and is the one that Professor Fava met a couple of weeks ago, brings together not just regions but all Italian stakeholders working in the field of research and innovation. And then we have a couple of significant networks also dealing with bioeconomy issues where regions are not directly implemented because they are represented from national research centers, including ENEA and CNR. And this one instead is another one on climate change. So the room, to conclude, is there to offer opportunities to bioeconomy, but also the room is there to make sure the bioeconomy can make this paradigm shift that we were mentioning earlier on. Yes, we need synergies, but synergies can also come over time. I mean, it's not something that we can just expect to realize in a couple of years. Since Dublin, where we went a couple of years ago, there has been a significant European progress in the field of bioeconomy. Now the big challenge for the European institutions and the national and regional authorities is to communicate it better in order to make sure that there is an ownership from the citizens, because bioeconomy at the end of the day is creating a new societal mindset. Another aspect on top of communication is education, to create more competencies and at the end of the day new skills. We definitely need more investment in research and innovation, and the Juncker plan and structural funds are there, and we need an integration of policies and stakeholders. Therefore, regions can make really these bigger contributions, and together, of course, with the other stakeholders. I think, Antonio, I leave it here for your consideration. And of course, the presentation is available if someone is interested in this heavy work of the European Commission.